Welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 55. I'm going to start putting the workout log on screen or the program on screen, as you can see here, and then I'm just going to start doing the sets and reps on the screen as well, or the weight at least, so you can see what I'm doing and how it's sort of matched up to the program. And obviously if I'm adjusting, I'll mention that as well. So today was a sprint workout, and I had some really interesting thoughts while I was sprinting. And one of them was kind of linked to a lot of the reading that I'm doing at the moment. So I've made it one of my resolutions, not an annual resolution, just a resolution that I've made to myself, kind of a promise to start reading more literature that is linked to the field that I'm interested in, which is obviously strength and conditioning, athletic development, and anything along those lines, anything that is involved with those topics. And one of the books that I'm reading at the moment is called The Art and Science of Functional Sports Conditioning by Vern Gambetta. And there's another book that I'm reading called the NASM's Comprehensive Guide, or the Complete Guide to Corrective Exercise, NASM being the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And both of these books are very heavily linked to things that I'm interested in and things that I would love to learn more about. But the reason I'm mentioning these two books is because the thought came into my mind just how unathletic the human species has become in the 21st century. With the advent of sedentary jobs, inactive lifestyles, and just generally a complete lack of physical activity required to survive in everyday life, humans have they've sort of become weak. We're not as robust as we used to be. And as a result, the rates of injuries in the general population has increased. The rates of health issues, I don't even need to mention health issues, diabetes, obesity, certain types of cancer, heart disease. But obviously there's also musculoskeletal conditions as well, and fascial conditions that all stem from just generally this trend towards inactivity that we've made in the 21st century. If you look at the general physical lifestyle and the physical activity of even just your great-grandparents, so what is that, 3 generations ago, so your parents' parents, they would have been using so much more physical activity in their daily life just to survive. They would have probably had a physical labor job because we didn't have the technology that we have today. They probably would have been on their feet all day. They probably would have eaten more whole foods. They probably would have been eating a much healthier diet because they didn't have access to processed foods. Processed foods were generally considered probably a luxury back then, and people couldn't afford them. And it's that combination of those two things, a less, I would say, athletic lifestyle, a lifestyle that is lower in athletic activities and physical activity in general. So what that's sort of linking to me, and why that speaks to me, is that why don't we try and convince people to become more athletic again? Because our lifestyles don't call for it anymore. So why don't more people start getting into doing sports and athletic training? Because if you think about it, training like an athlete makes you healthier. I think that being able to do athletic movements like sprinting, jumping, running, learning how to use your body and moving effectively and efficiently, doesn't matter if you're training for a sport or not, learning how to do that and do it effectively is going to make you healthier physically and mentally. And I think that is something that I want to inspire more people to do. Not just athletes, but also the general population. I want to get the general population into training like an athlete. I think there's so much more value in training to be athletic as long as possible, to maintain your athleticism for as long as you physically can in your life, than just to train to be aesthetically attractive or to be aesthetically beautiful in a certain way. I think that has a lot more power and it has a lot more benefit to people in the long run. Because I actually read a study the other day that mentioned how muscle power output is positively associated, or negatively associated with all-cause mortality. So as you age, the amount of power output that your muscles can produce generally tends to decrease. And obviously that lack of power is actually associated with all-cause mortality. So maintaining your athletic ability, the ability to be strong and fast, the ability to produce power with your body, as you age, maintaining that as you age is going to decrease your risk of dying, essentially. Dying from a slip or a fall. It's going to make you less likely to succumb to these health conditions that are the biggest killers in old people. So I think that has a lot more value than training for aesthetics, in my opinion. And to be honest, if you do train athletically and you eat correctly, then you can be aesthetic as well, but that's just a byproduct. It shouldn't be the number one aim of going to the gym. Anyway, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.